The waiter looked straight at me, then slid the check across the table. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "the manager says you need to pay before finishing your meal." The entire restaurant turned to stare at me, and that's when everything changed. My name is Monica Hayes. I'm a 42-year-old Black woman living in Chicago, and for the last 15 years, I've built something from nothing. I grew up on the South Side with a single mother who worked 2 jobs. Money was always tight, but dignity was never negotiable. My mom used to tell me something I'll never forget. "Baby, people might underestimate you, but never let them define you." I carried those words through college, through the years I spent building my own consulting company, and through every room where people assumed I didn't belong. That night, I decided to celebrate. I had just signed the biggest contract of my career. So I walked into one of Chicago's most expensive restaurants, the Grand Meridian, not to prove anything, just to enjoy the moment. Or at least, that's what I thought. The restaurant was beautiful. Soft jazz played in the background. Crystal chandeliers reflected warm light across polished marble floors. Everyone inside looked wealthy. Business suits, designer dresses. And then there was me, a Black woman sitting alone. The hostess gave me a polite smile, but something about it felt forced. "Table for one?" she asked. "Yes." She hesitated, then glanced at the manager standing behind the counter. He looked me up and down, slowly, like he was calculating something. Finally, he nodded. The hostess walked me to a table near the back. Not terrible, but noticeably away from the main dining area. I brushed it off. Maybe I was imagining things. But then the waiter arrived. He placed the menu in front of me, barely making eye contact. "What can I get you?" he asked. I ordered calmly. A steak, mashed potatoes, and a glass of red wine. Nothing unusual, but the energy at the table felt strange. When he brought the wine, he didn't offer a tasting like he did for the couple beside me. When he brought the bread, he skipped my table completely. I watched as he served everyone else. I told myself to stay calm. Maybe it was just a busy night. But then I overheard something. The manager was whispering to the waiter, and I caught a piece of it. "Make sure she pays first." I felt my stomach drop. 10 minutes later, my food arrived. Beautifully plated, perfectly cooked. I had barely taken 2 bites when the waiter returned. He set the check down on my table, right beside my plate. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "the manager requires payment before you continue." I blinked. "What?" He looked uncomfortable. "It's just policy." Policy. But no one else in the restaurant had a check on their table. The couple beside me looked confused. A man across the room raised an eyebrow. And suddenly, every eye in the restaurant was on me. Heat rushed to my face. "Are you asking me to prove I can afford this meal?" I asked. The waiter shifted awkwardly. "The manager said." I didn't ask what the manager said. I interrupted softly. "I asked what you think." The room went silent. The manager began walking toward my table, his face tight, his voice sharp. "Ma'am," he said, "we've had situations before." Situations. I knew exactly what he meant. I took a slow breath. "I see," I said. And then I did something he clearly didn't expect. I smiled. "Of course," I said calmly. "I'll pay." The manager smirked slightly, like he had just proven something. But instead of handing over my card, I reached into my purse and pulled out my phone. "Before I do," I said, "I think you should know something." He frowned. "I'm actually here tonight because of a business deal." He crossed his arms. "Congratulations." "I thought so, too," I replied, "especially since the deal involves this restaurant." Now his expression changed. "What?" I opened my email and turned the screen toward him. A contract, signed earlier that day. At the top was the name of my company and the project title, Grand Meridian Brand Expansion Consulting. The very restaurant he managed, the one planning to expand to 4 new locations nationwide. A project worth millions. And guess who the lead consultant was? Me. The color drained from his face. "You're Monica Hayes?" he asked quietly. "Yes." The room felt electric. Suddenly, the same people who were staring at me before were leaning in closer. Listening. Watching. The manager looked like someone had pulled the floor out from under him. I didn't realize." "No," I said gently. "You didn't." The owner of the restaurant walked in just minutes later. Apparently someone had already texted him. When he saw me sitting there, he rushed over. "Ms. Hayes," he said, shaking my hand warmly. "We've been excited to meet you." Then he noticed the check sitting beside my unfinished meal. His smile disappeared. "What's this?" The manager started stumbling over his words. It was just a misunderstanding. But the owner already understood. The silence in the room was heavy. Finally, he turned to me. "I am deeply sorry," he said. And then he turned to the manager. "Step into my office." The manager looked like he might pass out. The entire restaurant watched as he slowly walked away. And for the first time that night, the waiter returned with something different. A fresh plate, a new glass of wine, and a quiet apology. I finished my dinner that night in peace. But the truth is, the steak didn't matter. The contract didn't matter. What mattered was something my mother taught me long ago. Never shrink yourself to make other people comfortable. Because sometimes, the people who underestimate you the most are standing directly in front of the lesson they need to learn. And that night, that lesson was served right back to them.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel as your support truly helps us grow. We'd also love to hear from you, so leave a comment below and share your thoughts. We read every single comment. We are on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every bit of support brings us one step closer. Thank you for being part of Black Diaries and supporting the journey.